Reading up of your colleague's mom qualifying results. Zach Hall taking the top of the board for the 32. Ryan Kelly in the 3, going to be in second. A very different top row than I was expecting to see based off of practice out of this sim and also earlier in the week. But in the second row, some of the other competition I know where speed can be found is Christopher Norris in the 38, Benjamin Nelson in the 79 in the 4th. Cody Reed going to be back in 5th place with Brian B. Johnson in 6th. 7th is where we find Ken Campbell, Al Heath in 8th, John Forbes in 9th, and finishing out our top 10, it's the 8 machine of McCann.
Yeah, we're going to roll off 11th, Larry Yingling, who we did ride along with. E12, Isaiah Sutherland. Going off 13th, Ed Shearer Jr., and 14th, Anthony Gaudio. Rolling off 15th is going to be Joshua Kanata.
Yeah, and right-hand turns, we're turning left. Left-hand turns, we're turning right.
E17, Ross Tatum, and 18th, Christopher Wade. Rolling off 19th, going to be Cedric Hunter.
I'm not good at this car on road courses.
Rebound on lap 2. And rolling off P20th, Nick Crawford, who I did misspoke of, and I thought he was starting 3rd, but I'm still going to roll with my pick, Sam.
It's a good pick. He knows he can be fast at road courses. I like it. 21st for where we find Dakota Moniz. Hope he finds some better luck here this evening. Driver that really doesn't want me to say his name, but the numbers line up. It's 22nd position for the 2 of Danny Cochran.
True, Derek, true.
23rd, we find Brian Noel, who was given it.
I didn't go because it's raining. I would have loved to run that layout they had.
Nicholas Corsell going to be in 25th. Tyler Dengler in 26th. 27th, last driver put down the time. Going to be Douglas Newbiggie. The drivers that have their feet based off of their.
This turn right here that we're in now,
iRacing helps set up.
That's going to be a cluster on the first lap.
In 28th, 29th is Johnny Brooks. Brady Colley back in 30th.
Yeah, but that was a fun race too.
31st, Nick Alves in 32nd. Brad Delphi will be even at the end of the line, 6 back in 33rd position. Trevor Earhart back in 34th. And finishing out our 35 drivers here tonight, it's Ben Keeney going to be taking off from 35th position. So drivers are going to take a full lap warm-up.
Did you upload video for that race, Derek?
Just in 40 laps. Talk about the fact that it's going to be a chaotic first lap to watch out for. When you are going to these races, what is the main thing that your focus is on at least these first handful of laps?
The first handful of laps, I know it's going to sound obvious, but you just want to stay on track and get through without damage. You just want to be able to come out, even if you lose 5 positions, 10 positions, you're going to potentially get them back as the driver's going to come off. Of course, this is going to happen. You're going to see guys in the top 5 potentially get off course. You're going to see guys with 5 laps to go running top 10 potentially get off course. It happens all the time in these races. The second you touch that grass, you just can't really control the cars anymore, Sam. You get down there, you get on the brakes, you lock them up. Before you know it, you're right into the
10th place.
Drivers,
this car, this track.
Up is looking back to the pace car. You can see the field.
I just want to make it a lap 2.
We're on the second to last corner. It's almost go time for the run for Rudolph 98 here at Watkins Glen. The second race of the season about to be underway for the WSSR Rosa Gems Cup Series. As the field gets ready, we're on our feet. Hopefully you are as well. Pace car into pit road, into the restart zone. We're green for Zach Hall.
Oh, made one turn.
We're down into turn number 1. The first true
question is, can we make this one? I mean, not at the top of the hill.
The field goes down in turn number 1. They're 3 wide deeper in the field, almost 4 wide off the exit of turn 1, setting up for the exit.
Oh, wow, we did.
Feeling that loose sensation, battling as single filing out. They're trying to get into a better slot, but side by side, back for that of 15th and 20th. That's a danger zone as they press the top of the hill.
You press the top of the hill, single file for maybe our first 8 or 10, which is what you want, so you're able to set yourself up for a nice braking point.
Looking good.
Gap out front, getting that clean air on the cars. We're seeing drivers now get through the bus stop here. You do not want to go 2x2 through here. You see most of them being able to do single file as we're going to head through the carousel right here. We're seeing that gap maintain up front.
Yeah, he's taking half a second for Zach Hall over Christopher Norris, and Hall continues to try to pull away more and more off the straightaways. Just a much cleaner first lap.
This car has too much power
to the rest of them as they survive through the S's. They survive through the bus stop, and lap 1, Zach Hall through the final bend survives the first lap. Give the first lap to Zach Hall. And now it's go time as the rest of the field tries to now mentally set up for the rest of this race. Do you be aggressive early on, protect your tires? Well, they're aggressive for 3rd place. It's Benjamin Nelson over Ryan Kelly.
Yeah, we're seeing already a pass back there. Ryan Kelly able to get through that position. He wants second. He's going to get right up there, going through the S's, going up through the crest. This is the loose part. He's able to navigate it, no problem. Get down. Perfect. That's exactly how you want to get through that corner.
Is the boot
hit for the heavy
right here on the left?
Already gapped to
1
second lead.
Yeah, right here on the left.
Zach is really just hitting his mark.
Is that what you're calling the boot?
Oh no, Benjamin Nelson through the grass, has to be careful, might have a slowdown penalty. If you cut the corner, you have to slow down, give up time. It looks like for Benjamin Nelson, goes extremely wide, trying to give up space and time. And for the 79, one of the favorites coming into tonight, a major mistake in air just on lap 2. It drops all the way down outside of the top 10 in 12th position.
Major mistake. We talked about that. You want to get through these first couple laps, and it even looks like maybe potentially a little bit of kink in the right front fender. It looks like it's just pushed in slightly. Not sure if he did make some contact or if it's just the way the decals are set there, but we seem to get loose out of that corner, Sam.
Out loose, that bus stop so dangerous at times. Drivers also have to be careful. A factor we didn't really touch on with the bus stop is that inside right side wall sticks out a little bit. Drivers are aiming to get as close as they can, get the right entry point and angle through the corners. As it's going to be Edward Sherwood Jr. and close Benjamin Nelson 71. Going to make the pass for 12th place through the S's, and long run for some of these drivers.
Oh, I got you, Derek.
Having a big scare as well. Christopher Wake, big wiggle, and somehow they survive off the top of the hill.
Oh, big wiggle. He almost was able to.
I've driven that before. Just
keep it up.
I don't remember what car it was.
He's getting out here through the bus stop. We talk about it. It's only lap 3. We were mentioning about Benjamin Nelson. We know he's one of the favorites. He needs to just be able to settle down right now, get those spots back. He'll be able to do it with speed. Just going to be able to get the car back under him and settle in.
It's so long race. So maybe we're trying to set watch out for Nick Crawford, 74, up to 18th now, make it up to 17th. Pass on Danny Cochran, down to second to last corner. Cochran's going to go extremely wide. Trying to stay in the throttle, and it enables the 2 to stay almost in the quarter panel. Not close enough. As 74 takes that position, Nick Crawford already up 3 positions, and also for Crawford trying to follow Cedric Hunter in 13, who's also up 3 positions. We saw Hunter have the major mistake under qualifying. Here will Cedric's speed be at as he's rolling around the open second. Joshua Granada, drivers that he used to run with on Monday nights, the ISRC Truck Series, and now on different teams. See how well they can work around one another here for these first handful of laps.
Yeah, right now they got that little bit of gap, which is perfect. Not being able to have to move the car too much, being able to save the tires. We still have 15 laps before we might see some people.
I passed somebody.
To pitting, as we're seeing right here.
Celebration.
And Kyle Heath battle for position. They got a nice little gap in between them. 2, 3, 4 car lengths. Something nice. This way you're not overdriving the car too much. You're really waiting for a driver in front of you to just maybe mess up a little bit so you can sneak underneath them, get around.
A little bit. Kyle Heath, 31, moving forward as well as some other drivers. John Ford trying to make his advancement. 6th position is the 11 machine. And talk about drivers running that holiday schemes. Here's the holiday scheme for the 11 machine.
That's my plan.
Johnson, fastest lap for the 28 on lap 5. Crazy to see first driver.
Raw speed is not something I'm good at, so I'm just trying to stay on the track.
Also got that now. Is the other. John Ford's showing off one of his Christmas schemes. I think there's about 10 or 11 of them out there on track. Zach Hall is our leader, and also second place Christopher Norris. Other ones, as Christopher Norris closing in on Zach Hall, and he's been staying within touch. Zach Hall got that major lead in the first lap, but Norris has been creeping up and now staying stable.
Saving those rear tires is...
We see Rudolph there on the side of the car. We know Rudolph wants to lead this race. That's what Rudolph does for Santa. We saw one point.
Seemed like pretty important in practice.
Under 0.4 of a second. We know Zach fired off fast. He obviously was fast with qualifying speed. He fired off, built up a 1.1 second lead.
Somehow those guys in the lead can run hard and save.
Under 3, excuse me. Sam, what are you thinking? Do you think maybe fired off a little bit too much, heated the tires up, and now it's just going to have to cool it down a little bit, or you think he's going to be able to maintain this gap?
I think for Christopher Norris is just maintain the gap, put on the pressure. These two, Zach Hall, Christopher Norris, if you watched on Tuesday nights for the Full Center Racing Series that just had their conclusion, It was a great battle between Christopher Norris and Zach Hall at Spa, and those drivers were at Spa on the Xfinity car, and certainly a different vehicle, a very different track. But for Zach Hall, he's hoping for maybe some redemption to hold back Christopher Norris, because it was a mistake by Hall with 3 laps to go of him overcooking his tires that gave away the win. And Norris is over for another major mistake, maybe put himself back in the fight, but honestly,
they went to whatever school I didn't go to.
Within 2 seconds of one another, which means, their top 6, that means they're all still in touching distance of trying to make some big moves to move forward in this race.
And that's something I really want to speak to the viewers about. That's so impressive, the top 6 being able to stay 2 seconds apart. You sometimes see in these races, 5 laps in, you might see the leader have a 2 or 3 second lead just over second place, and you're kind of starting to lose interest, and you're thinking, well, he's going to walk away with it. Right now, we're seeing no one walk away with this. The top 6 is nose to tail, as you say. At one point, it was 1.9 seconds. I did see a car get off track back there, number 15 in there. It looks like number 4 and number 2 are off track too.
Yeah, major trouble actually. That is Mason Cassidy. He was upside down for the 4. He had to take a tow to pit road. The 2 of Danny Cochran also having major troubles. The 15 into pit road. And it's required damage for Mason Cassidy, Ken Campbell, both having to go into pit road. And here,
Ken Campbell, that's a
as drivers
name I recognize.
At that moment of the 2 of Danny Cochran and Mason Cassidy, man, what a scare for that field as they were going through the carousel, and you see a little bit of a slip up.
No cautions.
Cassidy just rolling around, and Danny Cochran bounces off the wall, comes back in. Just a bad angle for these drivers.
It's just a terrible angle, and it just led to so many.
I figured I'd pit halfway.
You see the tow, even took the tow there to get to the pits, the 4. That could be multiple minutes of damage. That's going to be maybe 2, 3, 4 laps of damage right there.
Your 4 drivers that were incident. Cedric Hunter is down into the final corner, and there's the contact. It's going to be Joshua Kanata into Ken Campbell. Hunter gets the nose-to-nose contact. Danny Cochran trying just to race around that group, but then gets loose off the exit. That's what happened to the 2. He just went too wide. Rumble strips bounced away, gets into his teammate Mason Cassidy, and oh no, then more contact of other.
The cow behind me's.
And of Dakota Moniz just nowhere to
stand with me pretty good.
Yeah, and I noticed right at the end, I think the 2 gets going right here, and another driver's I think another driver did end up getting into him. I think it was a 92.
Looks like it. I made a brake bias adjustment. Looks like it like that.
Sean's drivers. We do want to bring him right back up here to lead, though. Nothing changed. Zach Hall still in first. Christopher Norris now under 0.3 of a second, though. He's got it down to 0.28.
I mean, it's down to now even the top 6 are closer than where they were before. It was a little bit over 2.
It really like that brake bias.
Now it's down to almost a second and a half. And now I'm curious on, is this a strategy call? We're 8 laps into this race. Drivers are already starting to feel a little bit of a drop off on their tires compared to how they started this race, but it could be a strategy call. How do you protect these tires until you can get to that zone you're looking for of 20 to 23 laps of when you're going to be hitting pit road? Zach Hall, though, leads the way. Got the pole, kind of a shocker of stealing the pole away. If you looked at the practice time for Zach Hall, he was 5th on the board. But I don't think anyone expected him to take the pole, nor do I think himself thinking he's going to take the pole.
Yeah, he's got all the confidence in the world, though. If you lay down a lap as fast as he did, that builds that confidence, and he's hitting every mark perfectly. He's not getting off track. He's not getting shaken by anyone behind him, as he actually pulls away now over to 0.4. He also is just running very smooth. You see, he just gets over those corners. He's getting through his shifts, no problem. Getting through the carousel, right on the rumble strips. That's going to help get the car to turn a little bit. Maybe take some of the load off the tires, which potentially could be safe.
Save these tires the best that you can. 9 laps into the 9th race, and it's been a good one so far. In the second to last corner, and hitting these marks, we saw Danny Cochran over the rumble strips, broke loose into the tire barrier that was to the left, and that's easily something that anyone can make that same mistake with. I mean, Justin, Road Course Racing, not even this Get 4 car, but all the cars, these rumble strips, very dangerous areas of the track. That
yes it is.
The most dangerous area is Brian B. Johnson, Cody Reed, side by side for the 28 and the 52.
Side by side here, going through the S as we talk about how treacherous this could be.
I haven't got my rear hot.
it side by side, and it's going to allow the driver right behind him, number 11, to stay right there with him, John Forbes. We talked about having one of the fastest laps so far this race. He's if he gets by these two cars, he's going to be right there, being able to run down 4th place and 3rd. And Ryan Kelly is up in 3rd, who we talked about early on lap 1, getting around Benjamin Nelson. So we do see a driver get off the course, so we just talked about him. John Forbes does get off course there, Sam.
Was off course just slightly, but it looks like it wasn't enough to get what we call field speed. It's tough the course, and iRacing itself feels like, hey, you've got a little bit too much of an advantage. Let's give that time back, and that can be very crucial if we a lot of times for a second or more backing off your pace. Drivers don't want to have that mistake happen for themselves, as you have the 20 machine, Johnny Grug, as well as Isaiah Sutherland with Cedric Hunter. A great trio of battling action here out of the carousel. Isaiah Sutherland, one of the 3 drivers that at the end of the line. Sutherland officially qualified very quickly up in 12th position, the 14. Now making that slow push through the field, and you could say one of the funner nights, one of the tougher nights of having to pass all these drivers through traffic.
It could be fun if the car is driving good, but once those tires wear off and it's not driving as fun and you just can't pull over and pass someone like you want, probably not the most fun. But what do you think, Sam? Isaiah Sutherland, he's probably going to I think he might pit a little bit earlier, get that fresh rubber, get that track position, and worry about using his knowledge on these tracks to hold off those drivers as he'll be on a couple older lap tires, but he will be able to run about 2 to 3 seconds faster on those new tires.
Yeah, I mean, there's pluses and minuses. When you want to come to pit road sooner, you're coming to pit sooner of the drivers trying to be called an undercut. When you do an undercut, there are advantages of, yes, you've got that fresher rubber, you're running faster than everyone else, but the danger is that if you find yourself behind traffic, that advantage really gets negated. You don't have to utilize that advantage as much. But if you stay out slightly longer, allow everyone else to pit, you can find yourself a little bit of cleaner air to work with and utilize the tires a little bit better. So there's pluses and minuses. I think if you're Isaiah Sutherland, you might be aiming for that halfway zone. And again, it's all about how you've been using these tires. I think it might be an audible call in the moment of where do you feel the most comfortable? Did the tires kind of lose too much grip too soon? You need to pit sooner, or did you salvage enough to run better later on? As the field continues to race forward, you got the 19 machine of Tyler Dangler, who's going to be running back in 29th position, and Tyler Dangler, one of the drivers that showed up a little bit later. Nick Alves has been having troubles deeper in the field. He's had a couple of self-spins. The 44 back to 31st position, and some of these drivers, talked about Justin, just survive, stay on the track, and that's what the 44 is aiming for.
Yeah, he's doing what he needs to do. He's staying on track. We saw that bigger incident about 5 to 7 laps ago. He was able to gain some positions there and give himself a couple, about 7 positions over, worrying about being...
They racing up here. Look at that.
Any spots you can get.
Where's that lap traffic?
Points long term, and we know these points can come down to 1 or 2 positions at the end of the race.
Might be lap traffic.
Especially after a long season like we're experiencing.
Absolutely. One of our bigger movers of the night, Douglas Newbigin, up 10 positions. Behind him is Johnny Gruggen up 11. Those two, the only drivers who move up multiple positions, but Newbigin, a big slide for the 7. I know for Douglas, he was hoping tonight was going to be a good night. Felt like, hey, going to a road course where he feels a lot more comfortable, but you don't want to be in the grass too much. As the 7, I think he might want to be one of those few drivers that pits sooner than later.
Yeah, we saw him get on the grass right there. That might have been during its shifting point. I noticed before I was out there testing these cars, and just even getting on the upshift, it kind of just jerks the car. The cars have so much power, you think, like in some of these newer cars, you can just grab the gear and get into the next one, and it has the...
Am I catching them, or are they just up there racing out hard?
Floor that throttle, it just wants to kind of jerk the car a little left to right. If you don't have the steering wheel exactly how you want it, it gets you a little off course, and that's what we saw happen there.
Just trying to find that smoothness through the bus stop, and that's a very clean bus stop run for the 7 machine after really...
And this thing is spinning in 3rd gear.
For that first half of this course, now trying to find that smoothness. A little bit of counter steer through the carousel. It's where you're trying to find a lot of speed off the exit. Lose a lot of time if you're not able to maximize your run. Our braking zone in these last couple of corners is the 7, and where we saw him have big wiggle. It looks like Douglas Newbigin, he's settled down, survived, and they'll take that as positive for this 7 machine. As that's another lap in the books. 14 laps have been completed here out of 40. Thank you so much for joining with us here as three-time champ Blair Yingling trying to make his way forward. He's inside of the top 10 as well as...
That was close.
He was just outside of the top 10, excuse me, for that Blair Yingling in 12th. He's got Nick Crawford right behind him, trying to make their runs forward. But for us here at Fast Broadcasting, we will step away for our first commercial break of the night. It's been a joy to give you the coverage here at the Watkins Glen for the WSSR Road to Gems Cup Series. You're watching the Running for Rudolph 98. The driver gets himself set up. We'll come back for pit stop right after this.
Sorry, man, you checked up really quick there.
Sorry about that, Christopher. I didn't see you until it was almost too late.
Damn, he knows how to do that bus stop. I don't. Yeah, Nelson is probably one of the faster drivers in here. Last year's champion. Through that damn bus stop, I was a little intimidated last time. Oh my God, he shot it in there like a rocket. It's like I'm a little faster through there than him, though. Look at that bus stop, though. How does he do that?
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You're watching the WSSR Road to Gems Cup Series, race number 4 at Watkins Glen. It's the Running for Rudolph 98. And currently, Zach Hall is running away with this thing. Is that Christopher Norris on his back bumper for the majority of the night? But this field is certainly trying to find themselves moving forward as quickly as they can. Do want to give a shout out to our amazing sponsors. If you're watching the battling between their Nick Crawford, an amazing shout out to our title sponsor, Ambrose.
Third gear spinning the whole time.
He brings you the finest coffee blends for you to start your day off right. Get your coffee.
Be nice to get some new tires on here.
And use the promo code WSSR for 5% off. And Trophy Smack. Go get your custom trophy, ring, belt, or more at Trophy Smack. If you're looking for maybe a white elephant gift, it's a little late for Christmas, but you might as well try to get your trophy for someone. Hey, you might as well go on head over to trophysmack.com and remember to use promo code WSSRCUP for 10% off on all purchases. Thank you so much to all of our amazing sponsors as well. For Christopher Norris, you gave me something to read out. We want to talk about late Christmas gifts that you can get. Well, Christopher Norris's mom is having a deal currently for Serenity Escape scents. Go get your specialties in handcrafted, unique, whimsical car freshies, as well as wax melts with your small town shopping experience served with a smile. Go on over to, again, Serenity Scalp Centers to go get yourself a great gift. And remember to use
It's a little early on that pit, ain't it?
10% off. That code is good until the 1st of January. Pit stop's underway, and it's right when it opens up. Justin, I don't think I was expecting this one.
Yeah, lap 18 here. We got Ryan Johnson coming in. He'll be the first one of our top 10 to get in there, get those tires. Ryan Kelly also. This is going to be important right here, Sam. You want to see if you can gain a spot. You don't want to
sure.
Position here. We know how hard it is to pass, especially once this field gets to spread out. So Ryan Kelly's going to be trying to hammer down out of there and have one of those top 5 pit stalls that he earned during qualifying.
I mean, it's a great pit stall to have, but is this too soon? You're really going to have to defend and protect those tires. We saw 5 laps in. There was about a
no cautions.
Drop off on pace as Bradley Johnson able to get by Ben Keeney. Kelly, though, I don't believe he was able to get by that 98. Going to be losing a little bit of time up the exit of the corner. A big slowdown for both of those as now they're up to speed. And let's see that speed difference. Most of the field running about a 13.5-second time. 28 was one of the few that ran a 1:11 lap time. One of the fastest laps puts out here this evening. And now Brian B. Johnson through the bus stop. This is a very dangerous zone. If you're not careful, you can carry a lot more speed with that extra grip. The 28 bounces it to the outside.
Yeah, extra grip. Cold tires, though, like we did mention, we don't want to be risking potentially sliding with these cooler tires. But you did mention, Sam, coming out of the pits, traffic, get behind cars. You have the fresh rubber, but if you can't have the clear track like you did when you were running in the top 5 or 6, you're going to lose that little bit of time that you could have gained, and you might be negating by pitting early, and you might not gain back all that time by the time these other leaders go out there and clean traffic, as we see another car getting ready to roll off into the pits.
Also, a lot of drivers up front going to be coming to pit road. Nelson, Cody Reed, well, Edward Sherwood Jr. going to be getting some service done, pulling out of pit road. Zach Hall, Christopher Norris, one of the few top 6 that were originally our top 6, staying out on track. And for Christopher Norris, a big mistake over the 38. He's given up over a second of time over Zach Hall.
I could delete a lap.
It just seems you running such a different pace.
It's a bonus point.
It looks like it's go time. Pit stop for the 32 as well for the 38 machine.
And they're both going to come in together, which is a big benefit to our leader, Zach Hall. I think him coming in with Christopher Norris, this isn't going to allow Christopher Norris to undercut and potentially get the lead and then maybe hold him off by being able to throw some dirty air on the car. They're going to both come into pits. Assuming that pit stops go smooth, they should come out with the same distance between them, but we never know. If you slide through the box, it could lead to an issue. As we see Zach Hall peeling off right now, looks like it's a great entry, Sam.
Great entry, and also this pit entry is so different from others. You have to pull in onto the right side. That awkward feeling for the drivers when you're trying to make those different pit stop.
Yeah, I figured just cut it in half.
Could be a struggle for some. Instead of going to the left for your wear boxes, to the right. Some feels natural, others you find yourself with a mistake. Edward Sherwood Jr. talked about the 71 coming to pit road just a few laps ago. Internal damage, 71 has to go into pit road. Required damage for Edward Sherwood Jr. You hate to see that for a driver that was looking like he was going to aim for a top 10 finish.
My eyes are wide open.
Yeah, that's something you never want to see. That's going to put multiple laps down. It's going to benefit people in the back, though, who have stayed on course throughout tonight. They're going to be able to capitalize on this unfortunate incident for 71.
Never do this on a schedule.
Well, for all the drivers that have pitted early, Zach Hall.
Oh, wow.
Everyone that's already made their pit stop.
Tires are dead now.
He'll be back in 6th place as he's trying to catch up.
There was some kind of massive drop off there.
And exits as the 45 back out on track. Nicholas Peressel.
Yeah, I'm pitting this time.
Is getting fresh rubber, and I think drivers also might not have remembered how slippery that these tires can be, especially when you just get new rubber and then you tackle into the ice.
That's a great point here to emphasize to the viewers. We've been running now 20 laps. You get into such a rhythm on these guys. We see the 45 get super loose. He's almost and is not able to save it. He's going to slide. Going to get the car going back here, though, Sam. Nicholas Corselli able to keep everything going back on track. But as I was saying,
what is it, 45 here?
Sam, you're hitting your points, you're shifting, you're braking. All of a sudden, you put these brand new tires on. You're able to go further into the corner.
40.
You don't have that muscle memory down perfect. You might end up underdriving a corner, overdriving a corner, leading to you getting off track.
Yeah, you are not wanting to have those mistakes tackled. And a driver surprisingly out of this race is caught up in an incident earlier on. Danny Cochran on a night for the 2 machine. He found himself in trouble as he was going his laps, and it just doesn't feel like there was enough left.
Tires ain't that bad.
Too many incidences.
That one dropped, the left rear dropped to 79. That's probably that drop off I felt in turn 1.
To come to pit road and call it an evening.
All right, that's it. Go.
Joining the likes of Johnny Brugg, Evan Brock, and Mason Cassidy. Still in was in pit road getting service done, but back out on track. Ken Campbell, Nick Alves, and Ben Heaney still out there on course. You know, they've dealt with a lot of their issues. They might be able to jump a couple of positions because of the 271. Calling it a night, and that's survival with mental fortitude to continue to fight, even when your car's not feeling right. Been involved in a couple of wrecks. It can gain you a couple of positions, which is so crucial later on the season.
No problem.
Trying to make the way out.
Trying to get out of
79, Benjamin Nelson.
Right on my
Get his first waifu up there, moving forward as he's entering into the bus stop right on the back bumper of Cody Reed.
Yeah, under that heavy braking point that we talked about, just getting through there nice and perfect on this corner on the exit, getting ready to go through the carousel. Do want to mention Larry Yingling not pitting yet, but Zach.
Where'd I come out? 9th?
Seconds back, so we see how fast those freshmen. But we have to give a huge shout out to Zach Hall. He gapped Chris Norris by about 3 seconds on that pit stop exchange.
Also, got to give huge kudos to John Forbes, who's continued to keep it pretty close for Christopher Norris. He continues to slip up. There's some drivers that have done a great job rebounding after some slip up. Talked about John Forbes having some trouble through the bus stop a couple of times. Now the 11, right behind Christopher Norris. He was trying to go in for a pass, went a little bit wide on the last corner, but this 11 machine still has some pretty good speed, even though he pitted a lap earlier than Norris and Hall. And I think that's the big advantage you can give Zach Hall and Christopher Norris. That one lap advantage is so crucial, especially when we get.
Wow. Almost did it.
The track should be rubbered up enough that one lap hopefully won't be too much for him. 2, 3, 4 laps. Some of those guys have been a little.
Stay away from that curb.
A bit of a difference, but we see the 11 hanging strong as he gets through the grass even a little bit there. But he's carrying all the speed he needs to. He's doing everything. He's gaining on the 38, Sam. He had it down under a second. It looks like it's maybe half a tenth now as we get down here on the second backstreet.
You get that center of the corner. You're the closest you're going to be. Off the exit of the carousel, pull it out. You keep your foot in the throttle. You're able to be good momentum. If you weren't able to lose time, it's like the last corner. And also, these corners you can overshoot so quickly. These smaller brakes, the braking zones these drivers work with is so small that if you overcook it just a foot or more, you're missing the corner by a mile once you're finally into the center of the corner.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's exactly like we were mentioning before, just on being on new tires, you're gaining more speed through the corners. All of a sudden you're going 15 miles an hour faster into the next corner, and you brake a little later, and all of a sudden you're off track.
Damn.
It's not something these drivers are dealing with.
These new tires are harder to drive than I remember.
Like maybe we thought we would, but we do see one car who has not yet to come off track, that Larry Yingling, getting out there leading those laps. Zach Hall's got it down under 4 seconds now.
Zach Hall is closing in very quickly. Larry continues to stay out, and I don't know where Larry is finding this will to continue to stay out. He's actually hurting the 67 by staying out this long. I don't know if he's going to be able to make up this time, but we were given the number that drivers can go around 25 laps on fuel. If they really were trying to stretch it out, maybe push it out to 26 laps. But it looks like Larry Yingling, he's made it as far as he would like in pit road for the 67. At least getting a lap led and getting that bonus point that maybe was highly unlikely if Larry had pitted around that zone that everyone else was.
Getting that bonus point is always very important, especially at a track like here where there might not be as many leaders as we're used to seeing at some of the other tracks. So getting that extra point, them down, it could be really important later on in the season. One thing we'll have to keep an eye on is see is where he'll come out. He might come out around maybe 12th to 13th position, assuming he's in pits for about 14 seconds for tires and maybe about another 10 seconds going down pit road. Should put him somewhere about 25 into that 30 range, Sam?
Yeah, I think it's around the 25. I think it's going to be around 22. It's going to be around, so.
Yeah, we're seeing him exit already.
Yeah, I guess he was able to hold up. I mean, the rest of the field, I think also you got to think the rest of the field behind them, they've had their own big mistakes, tossing a lot of time. And 16, it's going to be we're expecting maybe he was going to fall back too, but Larry Yingling holds back for 14th instead.
Yeah, we'll have to make a note of his strategy. I believe he's running about 11th, 12th, 13th prior to the pit stops where he started gaining some of those positions. So he's able to get a top, if he is able to get a top 10.
That turn is tough too.
Could pay off. He does have a good 5 to 6 lap better tires on majority of the people here in front of him. So we're going to see right now how he's able to run down cars.
It's going to be a lot of hard work. A lot of time.
Jack,
6, 7 has to make up. Just 15 laps to go. Hey, good work out for Larry Yingling here, who's one of the few drivers that isn't in a complete safe mode for his tires to take it to the end. As everyone else, Zach Hall comfortably up to 3 seconds over Christopher Norris. Christopher Norris dealing with pressure of John Forbes, and his 38 machine having a good season so far. Just trying to stay out of trouble, showing great speed. The finish is maybe not there as Norris would like, but you'll take the speed in knowing, hey, I just have to find some consistency. I'll find myself maybe with another opportunity to go fight to end the playoffs.
Yeah, that's all you need to do is just keep fighting, never give up, have that mentality, and the stars are going to align for you. It looks like right now tonight he's having a great run here. Even if he's not able to hold off John Forbes, it's still going to be a nice top 3 finish potentially. One of these things, Sam, 15 laps to go. The mental error we still have easily over 100 turns to still do with all the laps left. You don't want to give up, of course. He sees the pressure right now from Forbes. He's probably watching in his mirror. I know sometimes when I would be out there, I'd be looking in the mirror, and all of a sudden I miss maybe a braking point, and you get off course, you get that penalty knocked out, or worse, you get the damage, and all of a sudden your night maybe ends up in the 20th.
Yeah, for me, I was always so scared when I saw someone heavily in my mirror. I would just get out of the way and just follow them. Hopefully, I could learn something, following someone's faster than me, found my back bumper. But these guys, they put in all the time and effort. They know where their speed's at. And for John Forbes, Christopher Norris, former teammates back in the ISRC Truck Series days on Monday nights. Now, a little bit of enemies and a great battle. What a move by John Forbes, sticking it to the inside, down into the Karis.
A little behind.
To the bus stop. That was probably the best exit we've seen all night long, and it's going to be rewarded with John Forbes moving up to second.
Yeah, if you look up pass in a dictionary, that would be the textbook definition of it. That was great. We saw him the lap before. We saw him potentially sneak his nose in there. It looked like he was testing the waters, and then the next lap he went for it, and he did what he needed to do, and he's going to take the position. And now we're going to have to watch this, Sam. 3.6 seconds. We're going to have to keep an eye on it, see if he's able to get it down there.
Trying to make the march forward, but the ultimate recovery run, you can give it to Ben Nelson. Who at one moment inside of our top 3, then fell all the way back to almost 14th position, back inside of the top 5, and Nelson is trying his best to continue to march his way forward. But 5th place, I think,
10-4.
Here in 79 after the way this race started.
Yeah, it makes you wonder what would have happened if he didn't have that issue in the beginning of the race. Would he be right up there challenging Zach Hall and John Forbes? I think he might be, Sam, because he's only 7 seconds back, and that penalty, it dropped him, I think, at the time. I think he dropped out of the top 10. So he's made the recovery back. He's gained the time back. He's running smooth laps. I don't know if he's going to be able to get back to the top 3, but we're going to find out here. It's under 13 to go.
In by the 41 machine of Michael Bennett. Part of the team that's kind of running the part-time Racing Revolutions. Other teammate of Michael Bennett is going to be Trevor Earhart, who Earhart, one of the biggest movers so far here tonight, going to be back in 21st position. Started back in 34th, and now up 13 spots for this line bright machine. Trevor, when he picked this scheme, said he wanted to be the easiest thing to be pointed out. Certainly is with this bright color when you see the field all together.
Yeah, I always like having those nice bright colors. I know some of my fans that would watch would love being able to see it easier in the pack, but one thing that's great having that color right now on a road course is drivers see you out of their front a lot easier, so hopefully it keeps them from running into you if there's any issues, and we know how easily you would have to be slowing down on these blinding corners, so yeah, any little bit helps. Every trick of the trade.
There's other drivers that are running well. I know it's been an awkward couple of weeks for myself. There's drivers I love to point out, say, hey, they're actually having a good race set. But then the commentators' curses came out and rung out for some of them. Can't do it to Danny Cochran. He's already out of the race. But there's a few others that I would love to talk John, but hey, I don't want to curse them again. Give them a break for a week at least. Other drivers have been having some pretty good runs of recovery. And where they started, well, Nick Crawford in 11th place, up 9 positions. and as well Douglas Newbigin up 9 positions. As see here running in 17th is Brandon Connolly, currently being ran by Douglas Newbigin, who's trying to advance forward and crack into the double digits of positions gained for qualifying spots as the 7 and the 1 into the bus stop. Watch out, here we go, as they're all running right on top of one another.
And the 7 got in there nice and hot. We say he had to check up a spec there to keep from running into the 1. We had mentioned about 7 moving up, Douglas Newbigin moving up a lot of positions. He did that last race also, Sam. He was driving from the back multiple times throughout that race. It was very entertaining to watch. Right there through that bus stop, that was fabulous driving. It's a little bit spread out now, but that was some great machine.
It certainly is. Still
Thank you, Derek.
defending that spot. And also we move up position ahead in 16th position. We find the 14.
The way Cody's all over the track, I'm kind of hoping it'll be about the same here.
Penalty here tonight. The other ones being Brian Noel, who's up to 19th spot. And also seeing other drivers that had to make their way forward. 6 at Brad Delphin, 27. Starting in last place with a DOL penalty, but Isaiah Sutherland up to 16th. Great job for himself, and there's still a couple of drivers that are in the target. This 14 could take positions away from him.
Yeah, that would be a great night for him if he was able to get those positions back. We know he had to start in the back of the field. Just one of those other drivers like we talked about with Benjamin Nelson. If he didn't have that earlier issue, if the 14 didn't have to start back, would he be up there riding in the top 5? I believe he would be. He's shown the speed. He's been able to navigate through all these drivers. One thing I did want to note, I saw at one point John Forbes had it down to 3.2 seconds. We do see the time. It moves a lot, Sam, because of the different braking points and drivers being at different spots. But the lowest I saw so far was 3.2. So maybe a little bit there for John Forbes, slowly gaining in.
He's trying to gain in. Last couple of laps, it's been Zach Hall just a few hundreds faster than the 11 machine and hoping to survive. Well, with 10 laps to go, we will step away for our final commercial break of the evening. Here's where your top 5 are running right now. You've got Zach Hall in first, John Forbes second, Christopher Norris third, fourth is Rodney Johnson, and Brian Nelson. As you're watching the Running for Rudolph 98 here in Watkins Glen. Running with us, we'll be back right after this.
You got one on your left. Stay right. Still there. Keep right there. All clear, all clear.
Hey, this is Benjamin Nelson, your Season 7 WSSR Cup champion. I'd like to give a thanks to Roasty Jim's Coffee, Trophy Smack, all the admins at WSSR, Snowy Desert Racing, everybody that tunes in to the Freaky Fast broadcast every week, including my family and friends, co-workers as well. And I am so honored to be able to hoist this beautiful trophy. I've never been more proud to be a champion.
Cedric, I want the spot.
Uh-oh.
Oh, you're gonna get it. My car is all types of fucked up. The fucking...
We're good.
The toe is completely knocked out. Let's put it this way. My wheel is 90 degrees to the right in the corner and the straightaway.
God, and I'm in a perfectly good car and just slow. I just suck.
Nick, you didn't see any of that.
Hey, that's my line.
Too bad, I'm using it.
Okay.
They're 5 wide behind for fifth. Oh my. The 5 wide here, this ain't gonna work. They make it last. Bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora's still with the shot here. Coming off a 4. It's it. It's bottom line, here it comes. Oh no, Carter gets run. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Trinity diving down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes, Cedric Hunter. He does it. He steals it, but he somehow drove it in the corner to wreck it. Oh, they wrecked. They wrecked each other. The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off them, and they got to be careful. Oh no, the 4 demolishes into 28.
What was that, Cedric? Please make a mistake. No.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Roasted Gems.
Yeah, that's our commercial break.
Season 8 has been a good one so far. We're underway with race 4 for the running for Rudolph 98 at Watkins Glen, and Zach Hall's been running away with this victory. It looks like over 5 seconds ahead, and the reason why, it's a 3-horse battle for second place. Christopher Norris, John Forbes, Ryan B. Johnson all atop one another, and let's make it a 4-horse race because Benjamin Nelson, he's not done with it. He's now closed in on the gap. Norris and John Forbes, it got a little bit too racy, and now it's adding the mix of the top dogs getting back into it. The season 1 champ, Brian B. Johnson, advancing forward. They'll be side by side into the bus stop as John Forbes and Johnson just make it through on the entry and the exit. Give the advantage to the 11. My name is Sam Dyer. With me is Justin Malarkey. And Justin, I don't think the drama's done just yet, but Christopher Norris, he'll happily giddy up away.
And drama not done at all. John Forbes doing everything he could through those corners to keep Brian Johnson behind him. Oh, it was great. You saw the tires even get off the course. You saw him get through the grass a little bit, kicking up some dirt, some dust, doing everything he can. And Benjamin Nelson's just loving his view as he get down here through the final corner, getting ready to come down here.
All clear.
5 laps to go. Look how close Benjamin Nelson gets to the exit of that corner.
5 laps to go, and still in striking distance is Benjamin Nelson. If we see John Forbes and Brian P. Johnson get a little bit more racy, if Norris makes a mistake, all these positions are still wide open to be grabbed. No one driver that's happy on how it's been kind of growing and blowing up. Zach Hall continues to pull away. Now the gap's almost up to 7 seconds as the drivers continue to attack moving forward, but Christopher Norris feeling comfortable in this second spot, but can he stay comfortable as John Forbes as well as Brian P. Johnson aggressively tackle into the bus stop, and they're right on that back bumper of the 38.
Oh, freedom, you can throw a blanket over it. These 3 drivers are battling like it's the lead, but it's not because...
Oh, wow. 3.5, yeah. Benjamin really dropped off.
Up to 7.2 seconds now. We saw it was down into the low 3s. Now up to 7.4. Zach's just found the groove. He's going. He's checking out from this race. He doesn't want anyone to even be a part of finishing close to him tonight.
827.
Hall continues to try to fight forward. And
probably getting pretty hard to drive for them because they pitted early.
And hold back John Forbes. I mean, it's been the bus stop. It's been out of the S's.
Heck yeah.
It's been the fastest part for the 11 and the 28. They just need a clean exit at turn number 1, or right on the back bumper. Or could you be too close right here, Justin? 4 laps to go as they enter the S's.
Hey, you get right up here behind these bumpers, you might lose a little bit on the front. Maybe, maybe you start oversteering a little bit there, Sam. You come out of the corner, you don't want to get loose like you talked about, because we saw in practice and we saw in the warm-up, some of these drivers easily just getting on the corners too much and losing all that time, potentially spinning out. As Zach Hall continues to still lead, 7.5 seconds now. We see the 11 get through there. So good. He's been really good getting through those bus stops all night. Not able to make the move yet, but he's coming through this carousel right here, right underneath the back bumper of John Forbes, right underneath Chris Norris.
A little bit wide with John Forbes, but still put the pressure, trying to make a mistake on the kid.
That was a real nice with that lap car. Oh,
yeah, that
boy.
last one
There's a chance to win tonight's race. Well,
that was a little bit too much throttle.
Position and giving us the greatest show we could ask for.
I got to quit talking while trying to throttle it.
Tonight's race, soon to be 3, and Zach Hall really just coasting away. And now the battle for third as Brian P. Johnson. He gave all the opportunities to John Forbes. Now he wants the chance for third place and a go for a shot for the 38. Not close enough. Forbes defends as they attempt once again through the S's. Just a handful of more attempts to go for some moves and some passes, and John Forbes a big slip up and slide on the start of the S's, and that gives Christopher Norris maybe just enough spacing here as they're closing in on some of the other competition ahead.
Give Norris all the spacing he wants, but that could potentially open the door here for Brian Johnson to get under him, under this corner right here. He's not going to be able to make the move right then and there. We're going to see what happens coming out of the exit here at the bus stop. John Forbes just gets through there so good. It's been a strong point all night. Going to be able to hold on to 28, no problem. 28 is going to have to wait till the next heavy braking zone coming up here down in turn 10. As we see the 11 get a little...
he might be out of gas.
Might hurt some speed coming down here. We can see the 28 now lean to the left. He's showing his nose, poking it. Poking. He's going to get on the brakes a spec later. The 11's going to slide out, maybe give him some room here. They're going to still battle side by side coming into the final corner, Sam.
John Forbes goes extremely wide, but keeps his foot in the throttle, keeping it side by side.
Ah, yeah, that's probably true.
There's the final bend. As they go down the front stretch, it's Brian P. Johnson now with that lead position, the 28. Does he have any fight for Christopher Norris?
Yeah.
To go, pulling 1.2 seconds back to second place. And Brian P. Johnson, as well as John Forbes, they got to play nice if they want to catch up to Norris and maybe steal away second and third as they start the run up through the S's. 2 laps to go for Zach Hall. Got a little bit of lap traffic to deal with, but it's friends that he's willing to communicate to get out of the way. Christopher Norris, on the other hand, he's got some lap traffic that he may or may not have to get by here by the end of this race. It's a calculated move. Do you try to make these passes on lap cars, or do you stay patient and let them run their own race?
Yeah, it's all going to be about timing like we talked about. You're hoping right now you can catch them coming down straight away. Hopefully they'll pull over, give you no problem. Sometimes it's hard catching them right in that corner. If they start breaking early because they want to give you some space, maybe it messes up your entry, and before you know it, you're sliding off course. But Zach Hall, right now, he's on full self-drive. He's on cruise control. He's been all night showing us that he deserved the pole. He deserved to walk away with this race. He's going.
And not having to worry about a yellow flag all race long as we're at a road course. And now, officially, with the white flag in air, it's your Roasted Gems white flag for Zach Hall. All these drivers with their Christmas schemes, while the Grinch, he's enjoying the lead position as he marches his way up through the S's.
He's a mean one, but he's going to be a mean one tonight on the track. The Grinch, all the way, starting on first, leading all the laps. Coming down the back straightaway here, under heavy braking, not going to push too hard, just going to keep it nice and easy getting down here. Not even probably going to abuse the rumble strips, just get through down third gear, second gear. Really easy on the throttle here, no need to push. A 7.5 second lead. He worked so hard for that all night. Coming down here.
7.5 second lead.
To the final 2 corners.
Damn.
Last time.
As he exits out of the carousel, Zach Hall, so many opportunities and chances that he thought he could have won last season. There's been chances of speed last week and the week prior. Last time this 32 was a victory lane was back in season 6. Went a full season winless. Well, end the drought. And now for the 32 is Zach Hall. He didn't steal Christmas, but he stole the show. The 32 is Zach Hall, takes the pole and wins at the Running for Rudolph 98 here at Watkins Glen, being our 4th different winner of the season.
5th out of 35 cars, I'll take it.
Second, John Forbes, we saw those battles all night. He's going to be able to walk away with 3rd position, and Brian Johnson getting 4th.
This field gave us a great show, a couple of big, massive wrecks, but ultimately Zach Hall came down to qualifying. He was the 5th.
Thank you, Derek.
When you looked at the practice speed, maybe he didn't feel as confident with his other competitors, but he clutched up when it mattered, saw his other competition fail at qualifying, and that clean air was all that Zach Hall needed, pulled away.
Yeah, I noticed the drop-off up there was pretty big.
The only competition that Zach had to worry about, I think that race at Spa on Tuesday nights for the Full Sun Racing Series might have been in the back of Zach Hall saying, I'm not giving up this one to the kid of this 32.
Yeah, I was.
Yes, we see them out there celebrating with their teammates, friends, drivers throughout the races. What a great night. They're all congratulating him. He just put on a show. I mean, that first stint, we thought maybe some guys were going to get around him. We saw them run him down. He built up that early lead. Then he got it back down to under a half a second. But once that second pit stop, Sam, he just took off. He found a whole other time zone out there. He was just gapping the field throughout the rest of the final 20 laps.
He really did. And staying out of trouble, a big factor. Try not to be involved with any wrecks. So crucial for this field. And Zach Paul, one of the few drivers that have 0 incidences, meaning he never went off track. He kept the car clean. The other driver was Larry Yingling, but ultimately Zach Paul kept it clean up front. And victory lane. Congrats.
I think he was doing more throttle off the corner than I was.
He gets to enjoy.
He was counter steering quite a bit.
We will step aside. Thank you so much for joining with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our top 3, Zach Paul, Christopher Norris, John Ford, on their thoughts here tonight. Back in just a few moments.
Yeah, he's counter steering the crap out of it. Of course, that was the last lap, too. I'm out. Later.